Rahul Gandhi is India's ultimate dynast. He's made many gaffes in the past, but today was something special even by Rahul Gandhi's own abysmal standards. Despite being the epitome of the Indian political dynasty, Rahul Gandhi in Telangana attacked the KCR family, the family of the Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao, for running Telangana as, hold your breath, a dynasty would. Remember, India's oldest political dynasty versus India's newest political dynasty. Doesn't Rahul Gandhi see the hypocrisy in it all? Here's the story.
जो स्टूडेंट्स लड़े थे, जो किसान लड़े थे, क्या वो सिर्फ एक परिवार के लिए लड़े थे? क्या आपने ये पूरा का पूरा प्रदेश सिर्फ 4 लोगों के लिए बनाया?
Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi's mega jibe at the Telangana government. Intended to hit the KCR government at its core, Rahul inadvertently scored a self-goal. Rahul's targets, CM K. Chandrasekhar Rao, his son K.T. Rama Rao, who holds multiple portfolios in the Telangana cabinet, his daughter Lok Sabha member K. Kavita, and his nephew Harish Rao. Team KCR did not take it lightly and soon sent a volley Rahul's way. K.T. Rama Rao tweeted, "I stand corrected on the joke of the millennium. Scam-gress leaders talking about corruption has to be the bigger joke." K.T. Rama Rao retweeted a photo of cutouts of Nehru, Rajiv and Indira at a rally, where he claimed Rahul was speaking at. The message was not lost on the Congress. BJP too soon jumped into the fray. Rahul's charges of dynasty and nepotism against TRS could be at best be called a case of the pot calling the kettle black. Rahul's brother-in-law Robert Vadra stands accused of conspiring with the Congress government in Haryana to land suspect land deals worth crores. Rahul himself and mother Sonia are facing income tax investigations in the National Herald case. Rahul Gandhi is known to make political blunders, and this one probably won't be the last. But Rahul, the son of a former Prime Minister, grandson of a former Prime Minister, and the great-grandson of a former Prime Minister, complaining about dynasty politics just about takes the cake. With Ashish Pandey, Bureau Report, India Today.
This has to be the ultimate political hypocrisy of all time. Rahul Gandhi, the epitome of the Indian political dynasty, trashing dynastic politics. How is that even possible? Can it get more hypocritical than this? Joining us on the Newsroom Showdown tonight, representing the BJP, Dr. Sambit Patra Kingshuknag understands the ins and outs of the politics of Telangana. With us also on this broadcast, he is a good lawyer, but I really wonder what he's going to say tonight. Jaiveer Shergill is representing the Congress on our broadcast this evening. Jaiveer, Rahul Gandhi, I have a Gandhi family tree here from Motilal Nehru to Jawaharlal Nehru, Indira Gandhi, Firoz Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, Sanjay Gandhi, Maneka Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, Vadra Gandhi. The ultimate representative of the Indian political dynasty now says that dynastic politics is bad. Dynastic politics is ruining Telangana. I mean, Rahul Gandhi is the last person who has any authority to talk about dynastic politics, Jaiveer.
Rahulji, 2 broad points I want to make. First, the reason and the rationale behind his comments and what he exactly said. Second, the stark difference between the Gandhi family, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, and Mr. Rao's family and what they're doing in Telangana. First, we all know it's a good defense classic trait. When you can't answer on issues, you start pointing finger at others. The worrying and saddening situation in Telangana justifies Mr. Rahul Gandhi's comments. Saying that Telangana has been transformed into a private limited corporation, Mr. Gandhi is right to say everybody worked hard for creation of Telangana, but only one family is reaping the benefits of Telangana. Is something he said wrong? No. 4 people from his family are in ministers. 350 crore house called Pragati Bhavan has been made, whereas 2,500 farmers have committed suicide, 100 from his own constituency. Now let's come to difference. Unlike the Rao family, Mr. Gandhi did not take any post in the government despite their having an option. He was elected from a constituency, 10 years of UPA, he did not take a single plum post or any post in the government, unlike the Rao family who are practically usurped the cabinet, filled the cabinet with
hitting out at dynastic politics in the way Congress defines it, but dynastic politics in the way that Telangana is seeing it at this time.
So in fact in India, if you would ask anyone as to what dynasty means, the first example and in fact the altered meaning of dynasty would be Gandhi family. In fact, the best thing that is said about the Gandhi family and the way of politics that the Gandhi family practices is that Congress is nothing but a family which is a party. Contrast to what Bharatiya Janata Party is, Bharatiya Janata Party is a party which behaves like a family. So over here, Jaivir is a very good lawyer, but he cannot defend such a horrible case that he has in his hand today. I mean, Mr. Jaivir is saying that there is a difference between both the dynasties in the sense that there is one dynasty which is plundering the state and the other dynasty which was otherwise. I'm sorry, Jaivir, the first dynasty which plundered the whole of the country is the Gandhi family. Right from the Jeep scam to most of the scams which even led the calculators shying away from the numbers that was in the scams that their CAG used to project. So in fact, the most corrupt dynasty in the world, if you would see the history of it, would be the Gandhi dynasty.
No, the Gandhi family, Jaivir has seen its fair share of scams. You know, you're absolutely right. From the Jeep scam going all the way down, the 2G scam, the Commonwealth game scam, all of them under your watch. And there are charges against Sonia Gandhi's son-in-law Robert Vadra. So the scams happened in the past, they happened in UPA 1, they happened in UPA 2. You have plenty of scams and you know, the internet hasn't stopped laughing. Rahul Gandhi is the butt of jokes online, has been and now even more so. If Rahul Gandhi has a problem, you know, the problem with the Congress is that it's defined around the dynasty. How are you any different from KCR and the TRS?
Rahul ji, straight answer. First to what my dear friend Sambit says. BJP has no locus standi to give any lectures of dynasty politics. A party which is themselves have become a cozy club of family of friends. Anurag Thakur, Jayant Sinha, Pankaja Munde, Poonam Mahajan, Badals, Shiv Sena, Mehbooba Mufti dynasty, Anurag Thakur, and the list goes on.
Jaivir, there is a big difference. No, there's a big difference. Look at the governance architecture.
One second.
There's a difference. One second, because you can't make a point that's not relevant to the argument. Yes, there are sons and daughters of politicians in the BJP.
You're right, there is a difference. Rahul, you're right, there is a difference. I'll answer that also.
Who's the most important person in the Congress party? Sonia Gandhi. Who's the second most important person in the Congress party? Rahul Gandhi. Who's the third most important person in the Congress party? Priyanka Vadra. That's the reality of the Congress. How are you different from the TRS? Yes, somebody.
Just 10 seconds. I mean, look, no one in our party, the Bharatiya Janata Party, knows who would be the president of Bharatiya Janata Party after Amit Shah. Definitely not his son. Definitely not his son. So naturally, this is what is the definition of dynasty.
Absolutely.
I mean, a son or a daughter becoming a politician through the natural course and then achieving something through the talent is a different issue. But who heads the party, who heads the whole system, that too, I would say, पालने में अवतरण लेना, born as an avatar in the cradle, is what happens in the Congress party. That doesn't happen in
absolutely. The fact that the Congress can't look beyond Rahul Gandhi despite his multiple political failures, Jaivir,
feeding off a line of dynasty
is evidence of the fact that you're a dynastic party. You've got Pandit Nehru, you've got Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. That's the dynasty. You know, it's not as if Anurag Thakur or his son is going to automatically become the next BJP president. So your comparison is wrong.
Absolutely not. First, you talk about scams. The difference is BJP is not a scam-free government. It's an investigation-free government. This government has mastered the art how to put a lid on investigation because they use these agencies as hawks, a remote control hawk. Secondly, comparison, the difference is before you. Here is one family who sacrificed, Srimati Sonia Gandhi sacrificed, said, I will not take the post of Prime Ministership. Mr. Rahul Gandhi didn't even become the lowest level minister, whereas he could have become the highest minister. Compared to Mr. Rao, if you have sacrificed the Congress, run that recording of 2013, where he said, I will not become the chief minister of Telangana if voted to power. 2001 is a radio recording in Telugu. 2013, you can play it on your show. So there is a difference. Fourth, you say scams. Mention me one where you said Mr. Rahul Gandhi has benefited at the cost of farmer and youth of this nation, where he's built a 350 crore house where 3,000 farmers are dying. We are not like food sarkar like Bharatiya Janata Party.
Somebody had said there may be charges against Congress leaders. There are no charges of corruption against Sonia or Rahul Gandhi.
Let me remind you, both Sonia ji and Rahul ji are out on bail. They're out on bail from the Supreme Court because of the fact that it was a scam worth 5,000 crore rupees. Remember that. See, we don't have to shout over each other. The issue is, please, sir, you could not even file a charge sheet against Mr. Amit Shah. Let me tell you, sir, let me tell you with due respect, in that case, the Congress could not even file a charge sheet. You were in power. You could have thrown him behind the bar, but you could not file a charge sheet. But coming to the larger issue, the Congress tried as best.
In which case, Mr. Gandhi or any of his family members have been declared guilty?
Let's not fight. Let's have a civil debate.
In which case,
let's have a civil debate, Javi. Let's have a civil debate. Let's not fight over each other. The issue is, try as hard as you may, you cannot shrug off scams and scandals. And remember what Rahul Gandhi had said recently. The full form of scam, he said, scam is seva. Scam is commitment. For the Gandhi family and the Gandhi dynasty, the sense of entitlement such that scam is a seva for them.
For
and they have been doing that seva since the last 60 years.
It's khao piyo aish karo.
For us, it is na khaunga na khane dunga. For the dynasty of the Gandhi family, it is jo bhi samne aaya, kha jaunga aur dakar bhi nahi dunga.
Scam, Chikki scam, Vyapam scam, Lalit Modi scam, Vijay Mallya scam. You want me to make you count the scam?
You gave that 9,000 crore to Vijay Mallya and you are saying Vijay Mallya scam? Remember, this very channel came up with those documents showing as to how Mr. P. Chidambaram was favoring Vijay Mallya, how Manmohan Singh was favoring Vijay Mallya. You gave 9,000 crores. We have recovered 9,000 crores by in fact auctioning his property.
Nobody came out with documents how your government gave him a red carpet exit out of the country and you were sitting like mute spectators.
King Shuknag, we've heard the Congress and the BJP. Just turn Javi's favor down for a moment. As a very keen observer of Telangana politics, how right is Rahul Gandhi when he says it's about the family of four?
Pot calling the kettle black. The original dynastic party is the Congress. And TRS is also a dynastic party. But Congress is the biggest dynastic party because everybody knows successive prime ministers have come from the family. This does not mean that we absolve the TRS, because ever since the new state has become, the state is ruled by the chief minister and his daughter and son and nephew. So I think you can compare the two, but the Congress is worse.
The Congress is worse, and worse because there's so many instances when Manmohan Singh was Prime Minister, Jaivir, where decisions were taken by Sonia Gandhi, and there were so many instances when decisions taken by Manmohan Singh were torn apart in public view by Rahul Gandhi. If that is not dynastic politics, yes, dynastic politics is not okay. Dynastic politics should end. But Rahul Gandhi is the last person in the world who has any credibility to say so.
In fact, Manmohan Singh was not the Prime Minister of India, he was the Prime Minister to Empress Sonia.
Rahul ji, can I respond?
You must. If you have a response, I'd like to listen to it.
Congress is a democratic party, unlike the Bharatiya Janata Party.
No, where is the democracy? 1 second, Jaivir. Rahul Gandhi, when he met us 10 years ago, said he would like that there be elections in the Congress party. He spoke about this 10 years ago. He's been speaking about it now. How are you a democratic party? Can anybody stand up? Can you stand up and fight against Rahul Gandhi for the Vice President of President's post? You can't.
Can I respond now if you show me the courtesy of responding?
Please do.
Number one, our party is a democratic party, unlike the Bharatiya Janata Party, which is a puppet in the hands of RSS. Number two, have you forgotten? Mr. Rahul Gandhi is the one who initiated the process of elections within the Indian Youth Congress. Here I am, a man from a non-political family, aged 33, sitting on your show, speaking on behalf of Indian National Congress, who's come without belonging to any political party. Third, yes, the Constitution of Congress allows anybody to fight elections for president of the party, and people in the past have contested against the president of the party. Difference is, we are not a party of criminal and cheats like Bharatiya Janata Party, who have a ex-Tadipar, if I be legally correct, as their party president. And fourth, you mentioned one FIR, one allegation to say Mr. Rahul Gandhi has benefited or taken a position in the government at the cost of somebody else the minute they came into the power. To the contrary, he became a general secretary, is fighting elections. He's not a nominated man in Rajya Sabha, unlike the BJP who are running the show there, certain ministers. Is
okay, somebody wants to respond to you.
Of Amethi? Are you insulting people of Raebareli?
I heard you.
Miss Priyanka Gandhi is not even in the system.
Okay.
No,
number one,
please.
Number one, I'm reminded of that famous book by Sanjay Baru. Do you remember what Pulak Chatterjee used to do? It's not that we may debate about the dynastic politics, but the problems that this country faced because of the dynastic politics is graphically detailed in Sanjay Baru's book. 6 p.m. and Pulak Chatterjee would pull out all the files from underneath the nose of PM Manmohan Singh and would rush to 10 Janpath because the kitchen cabinet was more powerful than the real cabinet. The Prime Minister was a shadow Prime Minister, and the real empress of this country was the family, was the dynasty, and the kind of entitlement that this dynasty had for itself is the reason as to why this country could not progress by leaps and bounds as it is doing under the leadership of Mr. Modi. We have a chai wala Prime Minister and a president in the party who was a simple man, simple karyakarta. This can happen only in Bharatiya Janata Party.
No, but
as far as RSS is concerned, let me tell you, please differentiate between the compass and the remote control. A compass only shows the rightful ways, does not interfere, but a remote control lies only in 10 Janpath.
Jaiveer, till the time the likes of Sachin Pilot, Jyotiraditya Scindia have no hope of becoming the next Congress president, there is no way that the Congress can say it's not a party of the dynasty. You know, the fact that you are sitting in a spokesperson's chair means nothing, because who's running the Congress? Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Vadra. They are the people running the Congress party, and there are plenty of charges, from the National Herald case to the charges against Robert Vadra himself. There are very, very serious charges that the family themselves face. So it's not as if there are no charges. And secondly, regardless of the validity of those charges, the party's governance architecture as such, it revolves around the same family. So if that is true for TRS and KCR and his family, it's true for the Gandhis as well. Final words, Jaiveer Shergill.
Rahul ji, I don't know why you hesitant. The remote control, let's call a spade a spade. If you think we are run by the Gandhi family, you call out BJP is run by RSS through Jhandewala headquarters or Nagpur. The entire orbit is around Nagpur. They press the remote and a person becomes minister. Secondly, again, why aren't you calling spade a spade? BJP has no locus standi to give any comment also on dynasty politics. They are a cozy club of family and friends. Why are we have a long list of people who are next in line and who are enjoying plum posts within the Bharatiya Janata Party? Third, you can cover the issue. Telangana has been transformed.
By the way, when is Robert Vadra joining the club?
Where the state is burning.
Final words, King Shukna.
The farmer is dying.
When is Robert Vadra coming in?
Don't worry, I know how Ranjan Bhattacharya, I know Lalit Modi, I know Vijay Mallya, I know Pankaja Munde Chikki scam, I know Mr. Chauhan, I know Sundara Raje. So, Sambit, I know all the names.
He's saying that the dynasts have nothing to do with the Congress.
It
just sounds like the most bizarre thing I've heard.
The fact is that the dynasty has been introduced into Indian politics by the Congress, and now all the parties are following that. So who has shown them the lead? TRS is a very bad case of a dynasty, but who started it? Rahul Gandhi and the Gandhi family started it. Indira Gandhi became Congress president, became Prime Minister. From that point, only you start dynasty. We were a fledgling democracy. What happened to the democracy?
I'm going to leave it there. Of course, dynasty politics is the bane of Indian politics, and it's a big problem, undoubtedly. But Rahul Gandhi has absolutely zero locus standi to talk about it. If Mr. Gandhi believes that dynastic politics is bad, he should leave politics right here, right now. Let people who are more worthy, more capable of running the Congress come in, because not just is he doing a bad job, he's also not being able to show a way to revive the Congress party. That is the inescapable reality, and the only people who don't seem to realize this are those in the dynasty themselves. Sambit Patra, King Shuknath, Jaiveer Shergill for joining us on the ultimate political hypocrisy. Thank you very much. Our viewers will decide what they make of this story. America's reckless president Donald Trump announced that the United States would walk out of the Paris climate change agreement. While he was building his case, he used many arguments, most of which were totally unsubstantiated and untrue. What's worse, he also blamed India for being a part of the climate change problem. Here's a reality check of what Donald Trump said, why it's untrue, and then the big newsroom showdown on whether Donald Trump's reckless decision imperils the existence and future of planet Earth. Here's the story.
The Paris Accord would undermine our economy, hamstring our workers, weaken our sovereignty, impose unacceptable legal risk, and put us at a permanent disadvantage to the other countries of the world. It is time to exit the Paris Accord.
An announcement that could deeply impact the world. Trump has pulled out of the Paris Accord, a decision that spells doom for the fight against climate change. Trump's move to withdraw is part of his wider America First agenda. His argument, the accord is unfair to the United States while giving billions of dollars of aid to developing countries like India.
India makes its participation contingent on receiving billions and billions and billions of dollars in foreign aid from developed countries.
But is Trump's rant against India an alternate fact? Here's the fact check. India has in fact said it will reduce emissions by 35% by 2030, while it does seek foreign aid to meet goals and reduce costs. Trump's move has angered his allies, and the city of Paris lit up its headquarters in green to protest.
We will succeed because we are fully committed. Because wherever we live, whoever we are, we all share the same responsibility. Make our planet great again.
Apart from triggering global warming, Washington's unilateral decision to pull out of the Paris Accord could set off a diplomatic chill with New Delhi. Bureau Report, India Today.
It's the one story that impacts all of us much more than any other, and it's the one story that's being spoken of the least, which is why we are putting it on the newsroom tonight. America's reckless President Donald Trump has endangered the world for all time to come, taking away decades of effort in the battle against climate change. Joining us on the newsroom showdown tonight to give us a perspective of what President Trump is thinking is Puneet Ahluwalia. He's a Republican member of the Trump Advisory Committee on Asian Americans. Squaring off against him, India's most formidable environmentalist, Sunita Narayan, Center for Science and Environment. She runs the institute. Puneet, to you first. What Donald Trump said was just so full of inaccuracies, distortions and lies. He said, for example, that China will be allowed to build hundreds of additional coal plants. India will be allowed to double its coal production by 2020. This is patently false. The Paris Agreement is non-binding. Each nation sets its own targets. There's nothing that stops America from building coal plants if it so wishes. Why is Donald Trump taking a decision with as far-reaching consequences as the one that he has taken, with as little thought as he's put into this? This man is endangering the existence of planet Earth.
Well, Rahul, what I see of President Trump is basically he cares about the climate, he cares about the country, he cares about the world at large. And that's the reason he's reaching out and asked the Democrats, which President Obama did not before COP21, to engage the Republican leadership to find a deal which was palatable to all Americans or the representatives of American people. And that's the reason I just want you to be very clear. He's not anti-environment, he's not anti-climate, and he has left the door open to come out and find a way
No, but look at what he says. He's referring to a 2015 research paper done by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. In this, he says that if all of the proposed emissions are put into place, this would result in a 0.2 degrees Celsius less warming by 2100. You know, that's what he's saying. He makes it seem as if it's a tiny, tiny amount, that it's not worth it. Now, that's just the most crazy way of looking at climate change. Here you've got the world heating up, you've got our glaciers melting, water levels are rising, lives are being endangered, and the president thinks it's not worth it, it's just too little. Puneet?
Rahul, the climate is always changing, and it'll keep changing. As you've seen, people come, and we've had this planet has a way to balance itself. But it's important for us to also look at how intelligently we do stuff. For example, to go into your details, that we had to shut down our coal plants. We had, under President Obama, we laid off millions of coal workers, and our energy industry greatly suffered, as President Trump outlined in details when he mentioned the 86% reduction in the coal industry and in the steel industry and in the oil industry. So we are looking at how it's impacting our American jobs, our American taxpayers.
You're making it about jobs. Sunita Narayan,
I'm not making.
Puneet Ahluwalia says that, you know, there's a paper study that's being quoted by Donald Trump when he spoke, saying that the Paris Accord could cost America 2.7 million jobs by 2025. He's saying what we gain is 0.2 degrees, if at all, and we lose 2.7 million jobs at least. It's simply not worth it. Sunita Narayan.
Rahul, it is a fact.
One by one. Sunita Narayan now, please.
See, you know, Rahul, there is no doubt that the Paris Agreement is not ambitious enough. And if Donald Trump had said that it's not ambitious enough, it doesn't do enough. I need to do more. My country contributes 15% of the annual emissions. My country alone has today contribute 30% of the stock of greenhouse gases that are already in the atmosphere. My country is in fact responsible for the warming that is already happening in the world, which is leading to catastrophes. I mean, be very clear, Rahul. You know, where Puneet is not very clear is that, or I don't agree with him at all, is that making light of climate change. The fact is, climate change is happening. The poor in the world are already suffering. The irony and the immorality is that the rich who have emitted, who are responsible for climate change, are not the ones who are suffering today. It is the poor. Think about the hailstorm that happened in Himachal last week. Think about the kind of extreme rain that we are beginning to see in India. It's not natural variations of the climate. It's not about climate changing always and getting okay. This is human-made climate change. It's happening, it's hurting the poor, and what is absolutely sad is the biggest nation of the world, the most powerful nation of the world, is refusing to acknowledge its historical responsibility, its contribution to the problem, and taking action as it is needed. It's a renegade nation, and I think that's really what we should start calling the US. It's lost its leadership role. It's a renegade today.
Puneet, respond to this. America had a certain role in the Committee of Global Nations, and suddenly in this reckless attitude, Donald Trump is saying we don't want to run the world, we don't want to lead the world, and Europe is having to step forward, China, India having to come forward, and America loses the dominant position it had in the world. This is suicidal from America's perspective.
Well, Rahul, that's what you all feel, and I respect Smitaji's opinion, and that's her opinion, and that's my opinion here, is I think President Trump is redefining America's role by leading from front, and he's being very clear on issues. And I'll go a little bit backwards. I don't know why India is being very reactive at this point rather than being proactive as they should have been. Our Republican position was very clear before we went to COP21. In fact, I had mentioned in a roundtable which Indian embassy folks were present, along with 7 other nations who were there, that we will defund Green Climate Fund. We don't support it, as President Obama doesn't have the support of the Congress, and at the same time, the states were not.
Why is India overreacting? Look at what Donald Trump is saying. He says India is making its participation contingent on receiving billions and billions and billions of dollars in foreign aid.
True?
But that's not. No, one second. India has committed to reducing emissions per unit of economic output by 33 to 35% by 2030. The submission does seek foreign aid to meet the goals and mitigate costs, but also
without any financial.
Absolutely, and India also is committed to using 40% of its total power through renewable means by 2030. So we are investing heavily in solar power. This is a battle everyone has to fight together, Sunita Narayan. If every country just thinks of its own interests, the battle against climate change is doomed.
Well, you see,
one second, Puneet. Let Sunita speak, please.
Sorry, go ahead.
Rahul, it's not just that every country has to. It's not even that every country has to do it. I think there is also disproportionate contribution of countries, and you can't say, you know, there is something called the polluter pays principle, and the polluter pays principle is that if you have polluted, you have to pay, and the facts on this are absolutely clear. Please recognize, and I'm sure Puneetji will recognize this, is that carbon dioxide is a different kind of pollutant because it stays in the atmosphere for over 100 years, in fact 200 years. Now that means that the stock of emissions that are already emitted have filled up the atmosphere, and that is what is responsible for the warming of the planet that we are seeing. So you cannot erase historical responsibility. You cannot say that I have not contributed or that I am not responsible. There has to be a differentiated responsibility of countries like India who need the right to grow. We have huge challenges of meeting energy needs of our poor people. Yes, we need to do it the clean way. You know how much we fight to cleaning up Delhi's air, how much
Sunita,
we need to do in India.
Donald Trump's own dubious track record when it comes to the environment. Many of his projects have violated multiple environmental norms, including a golf course which was built on protected sand dunes and chopping away hundreds of trees for the renovation of a golf course. So Puneet Ahluwalia, the man who leads your party at this time, has a very, very dubious track record himself as a businessman. His golf course, for example, was cited for a series of environmental violations, and his decision is a decision which jeopardizes potentially Mother Earth in the years to come for your children and for mine.
You see, Rahul, you can levy any kind of accusation against my president, who I feel is doing a great job. He was very clear with his goal and agenda when he was running the campaign, and now he's effectively fulfilling it. And I think people who voted for him, the folks who have supported him, and the industries which were really suffered, the coal miners, the energy industry, which had draconian laws, have now feel there's a vibrancy and confidence that's building, and that's what we as Americans are looking at. I completely understand Smitaji's concern. I understand what India now has to do is find areas of cooperation with President Trump on areas where we can agree on the environmental issues.
No, but there's a problem here. Sunita Narayan, Prime Minister Modi is to be in Washington 26-27 June for his first real meeting with Donald Trump face-to-face in person. How does this impact that bilateral meeting between the heads of state of India and the United States? And also, what happens to the global climate deal from here on? America is saying, you know, I'm not interested. It's your headache. It's your world, it's your responsibility. So where does this take the battle against climate change now?
He has said very clearly that regardless of what Donald Trump does, India, being a poor country, a developing country, will do its bit. As far as we are concerned, we will meet our Paris commitment. And I think that is a very important statement from Prime Minister Modi. And I think he needs to reiterate it to Donald Trump to say, it matters to us because our poor are suffering. It's a moral issue that the rich of the world are responsible today for the poorest in the world suffering because of their excesses. I hope our Prime Minister will put forward this position and also take leadership in saying we are doing it because we believe it's in our self-interest, but whatever we do will be not enough until big polluters like the US and China do their bit, and in fact much more than what their bit is. So I think that is very clear. As far as the climate,
Punit Ahluwalia, final words from you. Final words from you. What happens from here, especially coming as it does? There have been lots of phone calls back and forth between Delhi and Washington since yesterday. Coming as it does weeks before the Trump-Modi meeting, does it make things uncomfortable for Prime Minister Modi as he comes into Washington?
First thing I want to say that we have a very strict laws on pollution, and most importantly, I feel that the US-India partnership is on the right path. But at the same time, you need to have advocates who can highlight India in a different light, and apparently it is not being done. You can see in the H-1B issues, and you can see in the climate change issue. I think Prime Minister Modi is very, I would say, I admire him very much. Will find ways to build a synergy with President Trump and agree on issues where we can do joint cooperation on energy exchange and find a ways to basically lead both the East and the West together. That's what I would like to see.
You know, I'm no expert in climate change, frankly, but here's my 2 pennies. This is a battle other countries cannot afford to get out of. Just because Donald Trump is saying I'm not interested in climate change doesn't mean other world leaders stop fighting this battle. This is a battle people and leaders together have to fight, regardless of what Trump does, hopefully in just the 4 years that he stays in power. Maybe he'll be out soon, who knows. This is by far the most consequential story, which is why we've created space for it on the newsroom. Meghan Kelly is America's most famous anchor, a star journalist, but she seems to have no idea or very limited idea about Prime Minister Narendra Modi, because she met Prime Minister Modi and Russian President Vladimir Putin at St. Petersburg.
Oh, yes?
Prime Minister Modi said, I saw you with your umbrella picture on Twitter. Meghan Kelly, the star American anchor, said, Prime Minister, are you on Twitter? The story's gone viral, as you can imagine. Here it is, America's supposedly smartest anchor who doesn't know that Prime Minister Modi is only amongst the most followed people on Twitter globally.
I saw your tweet. Oh, yes?
With the umbrella.
That's right. You're looking at me on Twitter. Are you on Twitter?
It doesn't take much to be bashed on social media. Meghan Kelly, who quit Fox News in January, had planned a big bang return to US television with a Putin interview on NBC. Little did she know that there would be brickbats flying at her even before she launched her new show. No, not from Russia, but all the way from India. Some called it a repeat of the Sachin Sharapova moment. Many called her out for shoddy homework. Still others saw it as the world media ignoring India. Kelly shot to global fame after Donald Trump made sexist comments during a GOP debate back in 2015. If then she was a victim of trolling by Donald Trump, who is now the world's most followed leader, this time she finds herself on the wrong side of 30 million fans of Prime Minister Modi.
Prime Minister Modi, that Europe must take its fate into its own hands.
Well, Kelly could still make amends by following Prime Minister Modi. We Indians are a forgiving lot, you see. Bureau Report, India Today.
And she's supposed to be America's smartest anchor. What do I even say? Prime Minister Modi, far better researched, far better informed than somebody whose job it is to be informed. Well, let's move on now to our other big story tonight. Historian, cricket administrator Ramchandra Guha walked out of his administrative responsibilities, and in a scathing letter to Vinod Rai, the one point he makes, which is most devastating, is why should Virat Kohli, regardless of his status as the reigning god of Indian cricket, be allowed to choose who should coach the team? Where does this happen in the world that the captain decides who the team's coach would be? Ramchandra Guha is disappointed. he's walked out of the BCCI in a huff. Here's the story.
4 eminent Indians bestowed with the responsibility of cleaning up India's cricket. Just 4 months after their appointment, this committee of BCCI administrators has been hit by a massive controversy. One of their own has quit after levelling scathing charges. His target, top cricketers and veterans. The litany of charges is long: conflict of interest, special treatment of star players, even giving up top players veto power in selection of coaches. Ramchandra Guha has claimed that many ailments plaguing the cricketing body are yet to be purged. Guha has received support from other vocal critics of the BCCI. Others like Digvijay Singh, however, disagreed with some of the accusations. Guha's resignation has highlighted the irony that the corrective panel appointed by none other than the Supreme Court is facing difficulties in overcoming the corrupt web in the BCCI. What more must be done to save India's cricket? Bureau Report, India Today.
India has a big clash with arch rivals Pakistan over the weekend, but unfortunately, instead of focusing on the cricketing rivalry, talk has been about how there's this unseemly acrimony between captain and coach of the Indian team. Kohli not happy with Anil Kumble. A new list of shortlisted candidates has been put together. Kumble hasn't applied, so it's unlikely that he can be the next coach. But all of this really overshadowing all the build-up and the focus which should squarely be on the cricketing field.
BCCI hunt for India's new coach has already begun, after reports of a rift in relationship between coach Anil Kumble and captain Virat Kohli. Reports claim Kohli is unhappy with Kumble's way of working, so the question arises, is a current captain entitled to have a coach of his preference? This even as former Supreme Court appointed committee member Ramchandra Guha slammed the superstar culture, saying that Anil Kumble has been left hanging by the board. That's not all. Current coach Anil Kumble too was in the firing line after his demand for a pay hike that did not go well with the BCCI. However, since the Indian board invited applications for a new coach, Tom Moody, Lal Chandra Rajput and Doda Ganesh have put their hat in the ring. However, Ravi Shastri has stayed away this time. Meanwhile, the top contender to replace Anil Kumble is none other than former India captain Virender Sehwag, who too submitted his application to the board and is likely to meet the cricket. It remains to be seen if BCCI will give an extension to Anil Kumble, or will Team India have a new coach post the Champions Trophy? Sports Bureau, India Today.
This is where we wrap up the newsroom tonight. I hope you have a great weekend. I look forward to seeing you at 10 p.m. Monday evening with another action-packed edition of the newsroom. Till then, from all of us here in the India Today newsroom, goodbye, good night.